I'm going to go ahead and start up my solid edge, and we're going to work on the exercise on starts on page 8-30 of the solid edge textbook, tutorial 2. It's going to use both the synchronized and ordered method for modeling. And we're going to start with just an ISO part model because this is metric. So if you don't have it, bring up an ISO part. We're going to start. If you open up the book, you'll see this. Let me open up the project file from my documents, my desktop, and I stuck that right here. Homework, prints. This is an ice cube tray that we're going to model. This is a trimetric view of it, and a cross section through this corner, a little detail. I'll have these to hand out to you in class. It's going to be polypropylene material. I just assume that's something that's a flexible plastic. So it has these slopes, and it's going to use something called draft, which gives it its angled side, and we're going to use a thin shell operation and also a web network to create this object. So you'll see how this works as we put it together. I'll leave this open so we can refer back to it. You can see the initial shape is a 40 by 100. It's actually going to be 14 millimeters deep to start with. So I'll minimize this, go back to my solid edge. I'm going to start on the Y-X plane with a rectangular shape. And again, that is going to be 100 by 40. I'll go at 0 angle. So far so good. We're going to extrude this. And I'll extrude it down a distance of 14. So again, if you have the book open, you should have all these dimensions right there. So the first thing we're going to do is add a draft to this unit. So in the draft mode, we're still in a synchronous mode right now. This is our draft tool. And we're going to use the top view. The book says use the bottom planar face, but I think using the top actually keeps the size of the rectangular at the top the same. And we're going to select our 4 sides. You can see it's flaring out right now. And it's going to be a angle of draft angle is 12, which is already in there. But I want to select this arrow. If I select this, you'll notice it tapers it in by just selecting that arrow rather than going out like this. We want it to go in, and then we'll just hit enter. And now we have this rectangular box that has a draft angle. So if you were going to mold this with a piece of, say, a sand mold or some kind of a device that you wanted to be able to release, you can put that angle in there to get it to release from the mold. Okay. So we've taken care of putting our taper on, our draft angle. And now we're going to add thin wall. Now to go to thin wall, we need to switch to an ordered part environment. So I'll kind of zoom in here, just right click on the screen, and down here at the bottom it says transition to ordered. And when I do that, you'll notice it goes into an ordered environment here, and my menu changes slightly up here at the top. We're going to select the thin wall option right next to the draft now. There's our thin wall. We're going to put in a common thickness of 2. Should be this option, I believe. Common thickness, 2 millimeters. Actually, it's the open faces, I believe. So we'll just select this top plane, hit the check mark, and then do a preview. We can see that it has hollowed out the top of this with a 2mm thickness, and then we just hit finish. And now we've basically started our ice cube tray model to start with. Now what we have to do is put a web on the inside of this. The web tool is right underneath the thin wall, still in the ordered environment. You'll see web network. And what we're going to do is create divisors in here. So I'm going to attempt to do that. The first thing it does is it asks you for a parallel plane. And I want to set these divisors down 2mm below the top edge of this rim. So I'm going to select parallel plane, and I want to select this top. You can see how it select that horizontal top plane. Just left click there. And it says where you want to put it. I'm going to pull it down, and I'm going to key in 2mm. So it's basically setting a plane 2mm below the top of the lip. And then it automatically just rotates into this sketch mode. So we're going to put a divider line, and you'll notice it'll select either the top plane or this 2mm lower one. So I can find the center point right here, bring it down to this end, and again, watch when it highlights, it's highlighting 2mm below the top of the edge, the top plane. Left click there. So there's my center divider. Now I'm going to draw another. I'm going to go right here to the center point. Left click, come all the way down and cross it right here. Now if you look at the plan view, this is actually, I need it offset by 10mm. So I'm going to go to my offset tool. I'm going to select this option, type in 10, and just move it down in this direction. Now I can hit escape, and what I want to do then is select this and just cut it. So I know it's 10 off the center. Now I'll take this offset tool again, and we'll select this line. I'm going to type in 20. I'm going to go 20 in this direction, and then 20 more. Then we can select this, hit enter, and get down 20 in this direction. So these are our divisors for our ice cube tray. Okay, so now once we've done that part, we're going to close the sketch. There's our lines. We're going to have a thickness of 1mm, and we want to be make sure I get this right. I'm going back to the book. And okay, we're going to add one. Oh, I don't want to. No, I don't. So 1mm thickness. And I'm gonna. You'll notice it just selects the first line, but I'm going to tell it I want it to go down in this distance. It has a thickness of 1mm, and we're just going to left click. It actually puts it in there. Now we're not done yet. We're going to go to our web network 1, and we're going to do a treatment step. We're actually going to taper that angle so it widens out at the bottom. So I'm going to left click here. We're going to select the draft angle. We're going to put in 8 degrees. And we're going to flip it. So you can see the angle down here at the bottom shows up. We're going to hit preview. And there it is. If you go the other way, it's not going to go all the way to the bottom. So what this does is it actually tapers down all the way to the bottom, so it allows the ice cubes to escape. And we'll just hit finish. Okay? Getting pretty close here. So it kind of looks like the ice cube tray. Let's switch our window. Well, let's actually go look at our drawing again. You can see this has lips, and it has each of these cubes is divided out. Now, how do we do that? Okay, let's go back and take another look at it. It's actually pretty easy. What we're going to do is use another thin wall feature. It says choose the thin wall button from the solids group. The thin wall command bar is displayed and the common thickness step is activated. So we're just going to go to our thin wall tool right here, and common thickness is activated. We're going to put in a thickness of 0.5 millimeter. And then open faces is invoked, and we're going to select the 4 sides and the bottom face. So I'm going to select this side, this side, this side, this side, and the bottom. Hit my check mark, hit preview. Beautiful. So what it did is it took all my faces and made them a 0.5 thickness all the way around except for the top, and then I can just hit finish. So there's my tray. Now when it did that, it actually made my the bottom a little bit thinner than 14, but that's okay. This is fine. That's just from our basic. So now we've got our ice cube tray. We're just going to go to properties, and we'll start with our materials. We're going to make this a polypropylene general purpose. Add that to the model. Now mine turns green, which is kind of nasty looking, so I'm just going to go to my what do I need? Recognize the tool when I see it. It's under view. Let's just change the color. So I'm going to say I don't want it to be green. I want that to show up as purple. So now I've got a purple ice cube tray. Just another way that you can kind of adjust these things. So now we'll just do a file, properties, go to file properties here, summary. We're going to type in ice cube tray, and this is solid edge, just making this up, manager MET121, company University of Maine. Whoops. My comments will be all dimensions are in millimeters. This is going to be project, we'll use the one from the book. It's C08 TUT2 revision 0. We'll just call it ice cube tray. Hit OK. We're going to do a file, save. We're going to put this into our homework directory under parts, and you can see I've done this twice, so I'm just going to call this one ice cube tray. Hit save. Now if I open up a draft file, and let me see if I have one here. See if this ice cube tray tool will work. And I had it in the background, so we're going to take that off. This has a bunch of stuff, but I'm actually going to delete this. This is just our standard title block material. So I'm going to do a file, save. Still has the ice cube tray in there. Okay. Then we go back to our home file. I go to my view wizard. Select my homework part, ice cube tray. We'll say open. I want this, I'll take this front view, and we'll take the top view. This is a kind of a mini ice cube tray because it's actually scaled at 1:1, so a real size ice cube tray would probably be twice this big. So this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This thing is like 5 inches long, so it's a mini ice cube tray. Even though this is in inches for the title block, we can still dimension it in millimeters. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make a cross section through this piece. So if we go back to our cutting plane tool, just select this object. I'm just going to put my cutting plane right through here. Hit close cutting plane. I'm going to tell it I want it cutting in this direction. And then we'll take our section and we'll bring it right over here. So we're kind of using a lot of the things that we did throughout the semester. And I want to be able to show an exploded detail of this piece. So I'm going to do a detail using a circle just around this edge. And I want it in there at 4:1. I want a nice big detail because I have the room to do it. And then remember that we can select it, go to our values tool under general and have it show the drawing border. Okay, now we can see these letters are kind of too big, so I'm going to go in and just adjust those to caption 0.125. Better, same here. Caption 0.125. Caption and also these. I don't know, it just bugs me that they're so big on a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, so that looks better. If we come over here, we can adjust this. Those arrowheads, I wonder if there's a way we can adjust those. Format. I don't see it right there, but there's probably a way to adjust those arrowheads so they're not quite as big. That's not too bad there anyway. And then we can also bring in from our view wizard I'm in 6, so I'm going to bring in a trimetric view at 1:1. Place it right there, and we're going to bring it shaded with edges. And again, we have to update the view so we can see the whole piece. So you can see down here part number didn't get quite there, so we're going to go back in. This is from our named reference. So this would be, I think, project. There we go. So some of this stuff may or may not show out. You just update your title block. We're going to put our dimensions in here just so it doesn't drag out. Let me open up the draft file that I have in the background was actually going to, this is what you want. We're going to be able to show the angle 16 degrees because this was drafted at 8 degrees. The angle off the side is 12 degrees. That was our draft angle that we originally put in. We've got excuse me, these dimensions here on the lip, which is the 12 degree off the corners, so this matches 0.05 thick or 0.5 thickness, 0.5 millimeters. We got 2 millimeters from the top of the rim down to the plane where the ice cube trays are set, and that pretty much does it. So we have a front view, top view, section AA, a trimetric view, and what we're going to do is print that out and turning it in as your next homework. Next to last, we got one more homework assignment we're going to do to kind of give you some exposure to some other tools in Solid Edge. And that's it.